order. And go through a roll call to see who's here and who's not here. So what I do need to know for the people on here, who roll call for the persons on the actual board.
Here.
Actually, right. Jackie, Patricia. Okay.
Renee, do you have that list? Do you want to just call the names officially, and that way we'll have a present, not present?
Okay. Miss Shonda Holmes.
Present.
Miss Jackie Burns.
Here.
Miss Patricia Burton.
Here.
And Miss Barbara O'Neill.
Here.
And Miss Shannon Little. She's not here.
Okay, thank you. So next, we want to have a solid look over or reading of the minutes that you received from the last meeting for your approval, and see if there are any changes that you would like to request in those minutes.
Pretty straight. I move to receive minutes from the last meeting as printed.
I second the motion.
So it has been approved and passed that we accept the minutes from the last meeting. Okay. So let me look one here. Today on our agenda, we have a discussion of new applications for CDBG, home, and HOPWA. Okay.
Dr.
So-
O'Neill, if
Yeah.
I might, can I take 1 second to address kind of a bureaucratic thing that came up in the last meeting with respect to quorums and voting?
Right.
So went back to the authorizing local resolution that creates this group, and a quorum is technically 5 people. So in order to have an official vote recorded, you have to have 5 members of the board in the meeting, and 3 have to vote in the affirmative for it to be an official recorded tallied vote of the group. I know that conversation came up, and then also had talked about soliciting feedback from those who couldn't be at the meetings in terms of them providing their information to you via email. And that information can obviously be shared, but if someone were to have said, I would vote for this, an official vote cannot be tallied via proxy vote, electronically, paper, or otherwise. We'll tell you, this group can vote on these items informally. Those recommendations are still provided to the manager. So continue with your good work, but did want to, as we were a little bit unable to give you the actual rules, there wanted to give you the official rules so that when the report is given to the manager, it will say these are the recommendations, but that there will be a footnote to it saying that in any case where there was not a full quorum available, that the recommendations are via an informal vote instead of a formal vote of the committee. Just wanted to give you that.
Okay. So right now, Renee, we have 5 members of the actual board.
That is true. 4 are present.
Only 4 are present.
Right. Okay. So do we want to go back to Renee? Would you mind taking over right now and taking us back to last week, since we have 2 people here that was not here for the discussion last week?
Yes, you want me to share?
Right, just go application by application. You sent us the list here. I know we have some new ones to discuss. But let's go back to the ones that we have on the list that you sent.
What I sent to you today is for the next meeting.
Oh, no. You sent this on February 4th.
Okay. What I have up now is what was discussed last week and what we said we would go back over again. This meeting.
Okay.
Right. Is that correct? Because we didn't do any, some of the people were not here to share their comments on the ones that we talked about last week. So we said we will have to double back this week, let them provide comments, and we still don't have a quorum to vote.
Correct. And I do have that up. I am sharing that now. Can you see it?
I can, yes.
And so for CDBG, the new request we have for experiment in self-reliance.
That was me and Shannon Little. And I think, are we ready? Are we there yet? I'll wait till you say.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. And you're gonna have to tell me what my numbers were. But I did recommend funding for that, for this request. This one is new, right?
Yes.
Okay, for IDA account.
Yes.
And I'm sort of familiar with how that operates and have been pretty okay with how they've been, doing business with the IDA account, and it's been in existence for quite a while. And I think my recommendation was that we fund it at that level, and I think I gave them a pretty high score. Can you tell me what that score was?
I'm just getting ready to tell you. I'm sorry. CAC assignments. I'm sorry. I believe it was, you were the only one that put in a score. So you put 97.
97, and what was the staff recommendation?
96.
Huh? Okay. IDA is simply, counseling for folk trying to, underserved folk to get housing, and learn how to save money, which is really good, and how to manage that spectrum of purchasing a home and saving money to do so, and knowing what, how to manage that once they purchase a home. So I liked what I saw with them. So I recommended full funding if funds are available. If I can remember.
Next, go ahead. Go ahead, Dr. O'Neill.
No, you go ahead, Renee. I'm looking at the sheet here. I'd like for you to take us through where we need to go today.
Okay. Next, we have United Way, the Diversion Assistance Fund.
Was that me? No, it wasn't me.
I gave it 100 and thought it was well written and focused on one goal, and recommend for funding at the requested amount of $20,000. And Ms. Burton, do you have anything else to say, or you gave it a pretty high score too, right?
Yes, I did give them 100%. With me being new, I tried to do a probably deeper dive than most in reading historical information and what they have accomplished in the past and what they're trying to accomplish. And I was impressed and felt like my 100% score, you know, was representative of my, you know, recommended request for funding.
Okay. Next, we have the Winston-Salem Delta Fine Arts Center.
Okay, I read this application and gave them a score of 90. I noted that the agency had applied for this grant for many years. This year they had a well-written and focused application
Good.
on goals, and their goals were to improve the facility. I also said that it's the only African-American heritage and arts organization in the East Winston area. And I said granting the funds for the upgrades will benefit the city. They hold a lot of events there during the Black Theater Festival. So if that's coming back this year, I think this money will be well spent to be prepared for visitors to our city. And the recommendation was for $100,000.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm trying to see. I know I have it.
What was that?
I was trying to find the CAC scores, just those by themselves. And I don't seem to have that.
I have it here. Their average score was 91.0. Did you mean staff score, average score?
The CAC score, if there were two people who had reviewed that.
I have the August staff score here as being 91.0.
I believe that you were the only one to score that application.
Yes, it was assigned to, actually, Ms. Holmes, this was one of yours too.
Which one?
The Delta Arts Center, Winston-Salem Delta Fine Arts Center.
Now, I don't think that I scored anything as of yet. I don't think that I did.
Okay.
And so you said that you would suggest that they would be fully funded at the $100,000?
Yes, I did.
Next, would you like to go through all of the new applications first, Dr. O'Neill, or go through each category?
So, let's see, Piedmont Regional. Just, yeah, what you said first, right? Because I think I don't see Ms. Burns' name. Spearman Self-Reliance, Housing. Yeah, just go in the order you were thinking about. So back and forth. We're gonna go back and forth.
Okay.
Okay.
So the under the next category would be the Home Investment Partnership Program. And these two applicants are currently funded. We did not have any new applications for that funding stream. Would you like to discuss that or go to the next?
Anyone have anything on the, can you scroll up a little bit?
Okay.
Scroll down so we can see that. That would be Experiment in Self-Reliance, financial pathways
Oh,
of the Piedmont. Right, is that the sequence you're going in?
I will, yes. Okay, the Experiment and Self-Reliance is the next. It's one of the currently funded applicants.
Okay. That's me, right? Me and Miss Little. Jacqueline pursued, let's see, 1, 4, 3, 4, 6. I recommended funding for the housing program. I was just trying to zoom in on my notes a little bit. Is this the one with the housing for the homeless? Gosh, I don't. Is that what that is?
Yes, it's case management.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that was for, what was the amount for that?
They requested 125,000.
Okay. Okay. I don't know why I crossed that out. What did I say? I know I said something. If you can tell me.
Hold on just one moment. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's my fault.
Somehow or another, we can't see across the end of that, so they requested 95.
You gave them a 95 and you just said that you would recommend full funding.
Okay. And then I know they had gone through the additional stress of COVID-19, and dealing with the homeless. Yeah, so I recommended full funding for that. I don't remember what my trend of thought was, but I gleaned enough information to know that what they've done in the past and working with the grants and stuff, that they have done a decent job in working with our homeless individuals. So I recommend full funding for the project. And I don't know why I crossed out the $125,000, but that's what it was for. Barbara, did you have something different?
I didn't have this one. You and Shannon Little were fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
For some reason I thought but it was $125,000. So I recommended full funding for that.
Okay, so we'll put in the numbers that you recommend, but we always know that when we start adding up totals, at
Absolutely.
the end, we have to take
Based
the money.
on funds. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. You might want to make a note of any and all of that for mine, because they were pretty high number. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Okay, next we have Financial Pathways of the Piedmont for their Center for Home Ownership.
Barbara, I gave them a score of 100 and suggested to refund them at the requested amount. That was $75,000. They've been pretty consistent throughout the time that we've been working with their grants on what they do and how many people that they serve. I didn't see that much of an increase in the number of people that they're going to serve based on what we gave them before. And there was some confusion too. I can't see over there. Did they ask for 70 or 75?
They asked for 75,000.
Right, okay. I say fund them at 75. I'm sure that with what's been going on the past couple of years, with COVID, that they're going to see an increase in the number of people that they serve.
But I found that in a lot of mine too. I was concerned about the numbers, but then we have to factor in what's been going on and getting to, getting information to people and people getting back, to where the funding services were. So I'm in agreement with you on Barbara with that. The numbers may be a little low, but the cost of everything else has gone up.
Right. And they help people who are maybe losing their house to foreclosure to
Mm-hmm.
get them on a different path. All right, Ms. Burton, did you want to add anything to that?
Well, I don't have much to add other than the request being the same as it was last year. And that's based on how much they spend, per applicant and other, key program elements. So I did request that they be funded at 100%, since it's not like they were asking for a huge increase. And again, I'm sure they'll do well with the funds if they are provided, because everything that they do is, relative to other costs associated with things going up in COVID. So I wish them well with that amount of money for what they're trying to do.
Okay. All right.
Next, we have the Piedmont Triad Regional Council, their project reentry.
Can you scroll your screen up so as we go down?
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Okay.
I have it in my hand here, but if people can see it on the screen. So that Piedmont Triad reentry, that was myself and Shonda Holmes. I gave them actually a score of 100 again. I found the amount to be reasonable, which would help the agency, which they're going to increase the number of participants that they work with, and they're only asking for $38,721. Ms. Holmes, do you have any comments on that?
I'm sorry, I was muted.
That's all right.
Yes. Okay. No, ma'am, not at this time, but I agree with what you said, and even for the Winston-Salem Delta Fine Arts. Hopefully next time we're ready to vote, I'm more prepared and equipped to have more input.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Our next is the S.G. Atkins Community Development Corporation.
I think I gave them a pretty good score, expanding, to meet more needs. And, we're talking about food deserts, what a problem we have, in our area with the food deserts. And I'm thinking that they are growing entrepreneurs to help in that situation with the gardens and all of that. I thought it was pretty creative, but I wanted to know, and I questioned the amount of money that they were asking for. I can't see it on my screen because it's not moving up for me.
Oh, wait a minute, Jackie. It's
They requested $75,000.
And what was it last year?
They requested 75 and they received 65.
Yeah, I thought we did something a little less. But, we got to allow for all the other variables in this, this day and time. And inflation is one of them. And the cost of everything is going up. I like what they're doing is creative, and it's like an incubator for them to grow folk, who are interested in growing food, doing gardens, or opening restaurants and that kind of thing. So based on the availability of funding, I recommend the full funding, I do believe.
do you remember what your score was?
I do not.
90.
Okay. Thank you.
And the average staff score was 100. And also reading that was Ms. Burton.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add?
I've unmuted myself. However, my dog is after somebody jogging, and I do apologize. If it gets really bad, I'll have to mute for just a second. But in the meantime, I recommended for full funding. My score was 100%. I was so impressed with what they've done thus far, and particularly with what they plan to do. They do need the money to update their, tracking their kitchen usage data and lots of other things. I'm impressed by the fact that they have applied for all kind of federal funding, and anybody and everybody that's got money to give, they're trying to apply for some of this funding. So I did recommend full funding at 100%, and I'm very impressed with what they're trying to accomplish.
Okay.
Our next applicant is the United Way of Forsyth County, the Community Intake Center.
And they were looking for $30,400. And their continuum of care has been pretty phenomenal. And what they do with bringing together all the homeless services and disseminating information, you know, around the city and to their clients through the intake services. So I recommended 100% funding for that, I do believe. And you can tell me what my score was if you see it, Renee.
It's 100.
Okay, then there you have it.
And
their proposals are always very well done.
you were in line with the staff too.
Okay.
All right. Else, Ms. Little, go ahead.
The next is United Way of Forsyth County, the COC system coordination.
I requested, I agreed to the $26,700. I gave them a pretty high score here. I don't have that right here, but for what they do, they did not go up on their budget. Let me make sure. Right, it's been consistently that $26,000. Anything, Ms. Burton, you want to add?
I agree. The 26.7 is consistent with the prior year's funding. So they're not asking for any more. They're asking what they've been asking for, and hopefully we'll be able to accomplish, you know, some of the same set of goals, which are commendable. Anything that we can do to, you know, help with the chronic homelessness here in the city is well worth it. And of course, the United Way has great historical, has done great historical things here for our city. And I do recommend that this be funded, and my score was 100%.
The next applicant is Veterans Helping Veterans Heal.
Okay, Barbara, I gave them a pretty high score on and suggested that we fund them at the requested amount of $16,500. They don't ask for a whole lot, and it's amazing that they do what they do with that small amount of money of working with veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it was Miss Little on there with me.
No, Miss Holmes.
Oh, Miss Holmes, I'm sorry. Yeah, looking right at it. Lord,
It's okay. Okay. We're moving to the next funding stream, Home Investment Partnership Program and Habitat for Humanity.
I'm sure I gave them a pretty high score. Was that, Renee, what they were asking for was $710,000 and some change?
No, 215,000.
So, okay, so I missed it. Okay, I had some notes here. Okay. Habitat, yeah, 215, I got it. 215,000 to do 13 to 15 homes per year, but they have exhausted everything over in the Boston and Thurman area. And they had to kind of pull back simply because of the properties that were over it with some clouds over the properties for them to continue over there. And they're looking at, other areas in the city where they can build. But I was interested to know that Habitat is not only just building houses, but they're a full service entity. I mean, in terms of assisting their home ownership with other avenues of their lives to make it in line, to keep it in line and in tune with home ownership. Offering, of course, financial education. And another thing I was really impressed about is knowing that our city audits them, and so does the IRS. And as long as we keep everybody on above board and doing what they have to do, I'm good with it. So I recommend the full funding for Habitat for Humanity. And again, of course, always available, on the availability of funds. But I recommend the full funding for them.
Okay. On that with you was Ms. Burton, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you want to add to the conversation?
Well, again, their request was 215,000, which is just a little bit of over the prior year. So it's about a 3.8% increase. And with their 35-year history here, I think that, a lot of this money is supposed to go towards the Bourne Park Dreamland area. And again, the goal is to create 75 buildable lots, which, there's a lot of infrastructure work that is also required in doing that. So I'm just impressed with what they've been able to do and what they're planning to do for the future here in the city. And again, this 215,000 is under 4% of an increase from what, they've requested in the prior year. So my score was, I believe, 100%.
What was mine, Renee?
100 also.
Okay. All right.
And do you want to fund at the requested amount?
The requested amount based on the availability of funding. Yes.
And I agree completely.
All right. The next is the Housing Authority of Winston-Salem.
So that was Shonda Holmes and Shannon Little. So can we table that one and possibly reassign that application to us, two of us for the next time, or one of us for the next time?
Okay.
Do I still have the opportunity to read through these and to score them? Or is it too late since you've done so much already?
This one you can. You still have an opportunity to go in and do this one.
What was the name of that one again? I can't see it on my screen.
It's the Housing Authority.
Tenant-based rental assistance program for Forsyth County. So Renee, just, so we'll make sure we have some backup. That assign it to two of us. And so we'll have 3 people on that one.
Okay. Yes, Miss Little did complete her score on that.
What was her score?
100.
Okay.
So I will reassign.
I mean, if Ms. Holmes want, now that we have at least 2 eyes on it, or maybe 3 eyes on it.
Okay. Okay. So we'll let Ms. Holmes score, and then we'll talk about it at the next meeting.
Yes.
And I should only score that one, not go back to the others. Is that correct?
Um, yes, we still need your scores on the other. It's based off of 2 assigned reviewers.
Okay, then I'll look at all of them. Thank you.
Okay.
And then the last funding stream is the Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS and Positive Wellness Alliance.
That was the one for 700,000.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And simply because, go ahead. Did somebody say something?
I was laughing because, well, I already brought up what I know you gonna brought up last week. Go ahead.
I was just really overwhelmed with that one, simply because it does cover such a territory. You know what I'm saying? Several other counties other than Forsyth County. And I wanted some feedback, you know, but it's always they're housing the homeless and they're making sure that they have stable housing, because stable housing just helps them stay in compliance with taking their medications. You understand? They kind of go hand in hand. And I know that housing is not cheap, and I surely know the medication is not cheap. But I was just overwhelmed. I was just wondering, was that our part of it? And was somebody else going to help with that 710,000? How does that work when you have such, 6 county overlay there? How does that work? Is that just one broad thing?
Let's see.
I'll answer that, Renee.
All right, good.
This is Melon Parker
Okay.
with Community Development. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing just fine. Positive Wellness put in the application because as an entitlement PJ, which is one of the, as a formula, we were selected by HUD to administer this project, this program.
Okay.
And for the 5 counties, Positive Wellness will administer the operation of the program for these 5 counties.
Okay.
So there's also funding from the state as well that will be administered as well. But this pot of money will be dispersed through Positive Wellness for these 5 counties.
Counties. Okay. Okay. Well, and for what they do and what they've continued to do, I recommend full funding. Will somebody, Renee, will you tell me what my score was?
It was 90.
90. Did I have anything other than I was kind of overwhelmed
Let's see.
with all of that?
You said based on availability of funding, I recommend funding.
Okay.
At what extent, I do not know. Am overwhelmed with the magnitude of proposal. Need input from staff.
Okay. What did the staff give it? What was?
The staff gave the average score was 94.
Okay, so we in line. Did anybody else have anything to say, Barbara? I know you had some comment.
Well, I was just like 700 on the last meeting, so Ms. Parker explained it. So Ms. Burton, you had this when you want to add anything to it.
Well, I too was overwhelmed or wowed at the fact that they served 5 counties. That to me was just a wow.
Yeah.
I also was a little bit concerned, and maybe, Ms. Parker or somebody can help me. It didn't look like they anticipate serving any more clients than they will or hope to in the same fiscal year. So that to me was, a little bit concerning. My overall score was 94%. Again, I think it's a very, well thought out goal.
Yeah.
But don't you think that every fiscal year you should hope to assist more people than the prior year. And maybe that's just some random thought that was in my head on that day. But again, my score was 94%, and I do recommend funding, but was just a little bit concerned that they didn't increase the number of clients that they intend to serve for the particular fiscal year that they're asking for this money for.
Right.
So both of you are recommending full funding for?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Well, those were the last of the applications to discuss. Let's see.
Are you here? So do we have any remaining comments or any discussion on what we just finished? Okay, so you just recently received today your assignments for March, coming up for March the 4th. The applications have been put in Neighborly.
Okay.
And we will meet again on March the 4th, same time, same place. And what you didn't send us, Miss Renee,
Yes.
was a review calendar. Like it was this calendar that had the name, and I didn't look through all my attachments, so you may have sent it. The organization name, the program, and assigned reviewer 1 or reviewer 2.
Okay.
All right.
And Renee, for some reason, I don't have what the staff scored on in any of my documents. But again, that could have been I overlooked it, but I did not see it anywhere in my stat.
Okay.
If you would resend that, and maybe I overlooked it, I apologize again, guys.
No, I'll send it to you.
So what you're seeing, Renee, this time, since we finished, I got up to positive Wellness Alliance on my first staff score review recommendations. So I don't have any more after that.
That's correct.
Right, okay, all right, thank you. Okay, so any other business about things you may have questions about, or what your assignment is coming up? All right, so I'll leave some time for Mr. Tesh to do some updates or make some comments.
Sorry, I was struggling to get Zoom back up. Once it minimizes, get me back up. Renee, I would ask there, are there, I think we're on schedule to be where we need. We've got the additional meeting if we need it. Again, made those comments at the beginning about kind of the formal or informal nature of the recommendations. I know that the city manager is still looking for recommendations. Is there anything else that we need to discuss?
Not today. On the next meeting, we will be discussing the SOAR applications, and you will also hear from the continuum of care about the ESG applications. So to give recommendation on that.
Okay, so Mr. Tesh.
Yes, ma'am.
When we get to the end, that's when we'll go back through and look at, okay, what are our totals in this section? What are our totals in this category? Have we approved more than what we have? So we kind of did that at the end. I don't know if you'll do that with us again this time, but sometimes if we say support a full funding, we've gone over the amount that you have to give away in that category.
Yes, ma'am. You can provide your recommendations, and you can assume that there might be more money available. But as we continue to develop the budget, we'll try and give you a better handle of what might be available if the pot is larger than the previous year, so that as you're making those recommendations, you may be able to recommend more in line with what the funding pot will be specifically in things like the general fund.
I don't see too many $5,000 requests this year, but maybe we're coming up on this money now. Okay, so I want to make a motion that we adjourn the meeting now. We have no further business.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
I second it.
Okay, y'all. Okay, so the meeting is adjourned. I am using Robert's Rules of Order for Dummies, so I'm getting there, y'all.
You always there. You know, you always there.
Okay. All right, everybody have a good week.
To the week.
And thank you, Renee, for always supplying us with the information.
Oh, you're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Have a good
Now.
weekend. Bye-bye.
All right. Have a good weekend, everybody.